Okay. So, if you have ever been to New Orleans, Louisiana, you know that it is a city unlike anywhere else in America, filled with culture, music, good food, and it's my hometown. Unfortunately, this beloved city and the rest of southern Louisiana is currently in grave danger. New Orleans is around 5 to 8 feet below sea level, and the eroding coastlines protecting the area from the Gulf leave southern Louisiana at severe risk of flooding and catastrophic hurricanes. This could mean that all of America could lose one of its cultural meccas and tourist cities completely. The only way to save Louisiana is by restoring the coastlines before irreversible damage is done. So just like the lost city of Atlantis, New Orleans is at risk of being completely submerged. New Orleans has always been somewhat underwater. In the beginning, when indigenous people ruled the area, they would move according to the rising sea levels. Colonization happened, which submerged all of the city, but a system of levees and canals were built, making the city livable and providing some flooding protection. Due to climate change, which is a global problem that is causing increasingly disastrous natural disasters across the world and hitting America much harder this year, the sea level is rising and New Orleans will be 13 feet below sea level in just 80 years. Because New Orleans is shaped like a bowl, stronger protection is needed to prevent catastrophic flooding. According to a quote from The Atlantic, Louisiana's coast has eroded over 2,000 square miles since the 1930s. Slowing that loss requires tapping into the Mississippi River by diverting its fresh water and siphoning its sediment load onto the coastal plain, pushing back intruding salt water and shoring up wetlands at a pace faster than the sea level is rising. So this is actually a pretty easy process that can be done with domestic support from all of America and increased focus from our government. So this is why we need all of America's support in getting this to happen. So in layman's terms, this is how we do this. Swamps and marshes surrounding Louisiana's coastline expand and build up in sediment-rich water. Carefully pouring water from the Mississippi River into the swamplands can cause them to build back up over time, creating acres of new land for the buffer zone, which protects Louisiana and all of our coastlines from catastrophic flooding and hurricanes, making it livable and enjoyable for everyone to come and be a tourist in. So, one way that Louisianians like myself, and this is something that I do every single year, we can donate our live Christmas trees to be used to rebuild the coast. So Christmas trees are laid out in the marshland each January, building up a fence of thick trees that becomes a part of the marsh and raises elevation. So this is a simple way that Louisianians can help build up the coastline while we wait for the rest of America to come and help us with our coastal troubles. So restoring the coastline as quickly as possible is imperative due to the strengthening and frequency of hurricanes from climate change. As we've seen, climate change has caused major problems for everyone, causing intense natural disasters, blistering weather, melting of glaciers. So many things are going on as a result of climate change, but this is how it's hitting Louisiana specifically. So, the Geophysical Fluid Dynamics Lab states, It is likely that greenhouse warming will cause hurricanes in the coming century to be more intense globally and have higher rainfall rates than present-day hurricanes. The hurricane model also projects that the lifetime max intensity of Atlantic hurricanes will increase by 5% during the 21st century. So, whenever I was younger, about 15 years ago, that's when Hurricane Katrina happened, we would get about 2 to 3 hurricanes per season. And they wouldn't really go much higher than a category 1 or 2, which is honestly just intense rainfall for us. When I was 6, the most intense hurricane I experienced was Hurricane Katrina, which was a category 5, and we all know the destruction that that caused. In 2020, this year, Louisiana faced 8 hurricanes in one season alone, with one reaching category 4, which is just one level away from Hurricane Katrina. So if we get this type of catastrophe and disaster over and over again in one season, Louisiana could be obliterated much quicker than we need it to be. And it can mean dangers for our northern states along the coast and other parts of America too. So the increase in frequency and strength further erodes the buffer zone and expedites the risk of extreme flooding in southern Louisiana. So we need your help. In order to save Louisiana and protect its rich culture, funding is needed. Top researchers have plans and orders, as I have stated before, to restore the coastal wetlands, but funding, media engagement, and American support is needed to expedite this process. Climate change regulation will also be a big factor in slowing the rate and intensity of hurricanes, which can help everyone in the world too. We always need stronger climate change regulations and preventions, but it can also help prevent further erosion damage. Louisiana cannot do this alone. We need all Americans to bond together to save this historic city. Thank you for your time.